Okay, let's dive into the material you shared with us. This is excerpts from a piece called The Guilty Whisper,
Yeah,
the last message from Maple Drive.
right.
And this is really a deep dive into a case where, well, a teenager walks home just after midnight, sends this really chilling voicemail just minutes, literally minutes, before her parents call the police, and then she just vanishes.
It's one of those cases built around a few incredibly specific, really unsettling details, and the material you brought, it lays them out quite clearly.
Okay.
So we're looking at September 14th, 2017. It's a quiet Pennsylvania town. Lily Hawthorne, she's 17 years old,
Right.
leaves a friend's party just after midnight, thinking she's just walking, 3 blocks home to Maple Drive.
But she never arrived. That's the core of it.
Never made it.
And according to this material, her parents, they called the police at 3:23 a.m. She's still not home.
Mm-hmm.
And those first checks, they showed her phone pinged somewhere near a wooded trail, 2 streets away from her house, something like that.
Yeah, near the trail, 2 streets over. But a crucial point here is that her phone went dead sometime before morning.
Oh, okay.
So that last known location near the trail, that's really where the digital trail just stops.
Okay, and here's where things get, well, intensely focused in the material you provided. And frankly, it's haunting.
Yeah.
It highlights this voicemail. Sent at 3:12 a.m. I mean, think about that. Just 11 minutes before her parents made that 911 call. Sent from Lily's phone.
And this message went to her ex-boyfriend. The piece you shared gives us the exact content, and it's chilling.
What did it say?
There's faint breathing. You can hear sounds, maybe footsteps, and then Lily's voice trembling, and this is a direct quote from the material. She says, "He's not supposed to be here. I didn't tell him where I was."
He's not supposed to be here. Wow. Just those words, captured in fear.
Mm-hmm.
No name mentioned, no, immediate context in the message itself, just that raw sound of, well, terror and maybe movement.
What stands out immediately is that timing, Why send a voicemail like that?
Right.
To an ex-boyfriend just minutes before the official missing person report.
And the wording.
And the wording, "He's not supposed to be here." It suggests surprise, doesn't it? Like she recognized someone, but someone unexpected.
Exactly. Okay, so our mission here in this deep dive is really to unpack these specific facts, the ones presented right here in the material.
Right, the details provided.
That exact timeline, the phone ping location, the specific words of that voicemail, and just see what light they shed, or maybe what new questions they raise about this really strange, still unsolved case you're looking into. We're exploring the details you brought us here.
Okay, so the material notes that investigators, they initially focused on the ex-boyfriend, Eric Nolan. He was 18 at the time.
Makes sense.
He apparently said he was home watching Netflix, and his phone records, they seem to back that up, supported his alibi.
Okay, so his alibi checks out, but as the piece goes on, the focus kind of shifted, didn't it?
It did, yeah. It brings in his older brother, Gavin Nolan. And some key details emerge here. According to the material, he had a sealed juvenile record.
Okay.
And he drove a gray pickup truck.
A gray pickup. Why is that significant?
Well, that vehicle detail becomes pretty significant because, according to this material, neighbors reported seeing a gray pickup near that same wooded trail where Lily's phone last pinged around 3 a.m.
Around 3 a.m. Okay, so same time frame, same location as the phone ping.
Exactly. So this connection between Gavin, the sealed record, this matching vehicle description near her last known location, it's certainly highlighted in the material as a point of significant interest for the investigators. It's presented as a key thread.
Right. So years go by, no breakthroughs, and then something else comes up in the material you shared, a discovery in 2020.
Yes. Made by a hiker.
Yeah.
Found 9 miles away from town.
9 miles. What was it?
Lily's denim jacket.
Her jacket.
Yeah.
Found 3 years later, 9 miles away. That's odd.
And the way it was found, as the piece really emphasizes, is deeply perplexing.
How so?
It was folded.
Fold it.
Folded. It was dry, despite all the time that had passed, and it was placed deliberately on a log.
Folded. Dry. Placed. Okay, that description of the material, it just immediately suggests this wasn't something like lost during a struggle near the trail back in 2017.
Doesn't sound like it now.
And the piece notes, tests, confirmed it was her DNA on the jacket, right?
Lily's DNA, yes. But crucially, no blood, no bones, no body found anywhere near it.
So the implication drawn from these details,
Yeah.
it sounds like the jacket was kept by someone for years
Mm-hmm.
and then deliberately placed at that spot much later.
This detail, the jacket found miles away, arranged so carefully, it really changes the picture presented by that initial disappearance near her home, doesn't it?
Completely.
Why move it so far? Why leave it like that years later? It feels almost performative or like a disturbing sort of memorialization, the way it's described. It certainly complicates the narrative from the source.
Yeah, it really does. And then the material introduces another incredibly unsettling detail, an anonymous tip, untraceable.
Ugh, yes. A woman called a tip line, and the words she relayed are quoted directly in the piece.
What did she say?
She said, "He told me he followed her. He said she was scared. He liked that."
Oh, wow. He said she was scared. He liked that.
Chilling words.
And the caller just disappears. Untraceable.
Untraceable. It adds this layer of, well, cold calculation and a deeply disturbing potential motive, as highlighted right there in the piece.
It gives a voice, almost, to a possible intent behind whatever happened.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's pull together these specific threads, the ones presented right here in the material you shared.
Okay.
We have a really strange, critical timestamp of the voicemail just minutes before the 911 call.
Right, the 11 minutes.
The initial phone ping location near that wooded trail.
Mm-hmm.
The shift in focus from the ex-boyfriend Eric, whose alibi checked out, to his brother Gavin, with the sealed record and that matching gray pickup sighting nearby, right around the same time.
That's the sequence laid out.
Yeah.
And then years later,
the profoundly strange discovery of Lily's jacket. Miles away.
found, folded, placed carefully, suggesting it was kept, intentionally left, not just lost back then.
Her DNA confirmed on it, but no other sort of physical evidence connecting it directly to violence right there.
Correct. No blood, no signs of a struggle on the jacket itself, according to the report.
And finally, that anonymous tip, relaying someone's chilling admission, following her, knowing she was scared, and liking that fear.
Yeah, that quote hangs heavy.
So the material states the case remains unsolved.
Still unsolved. No charges have ever been filed.
And it mentions Gavin Nolan, the brother, moved out of state.
Moved away. And Eric, the ex-boyfriend, hasn't spoken to the media since those early days.
And there's that really poignant, haunting detail that Lily's voice, that voicemail itself, it tragically still circulates online.
Yeah, a fragment of her fear, just out there.
And her mother holds a vigil every year, doesn't she? By the trail where she was last known to be.
That's what the material says, a yearly vigil.
So these specific pieces of information, right from the material you brought us, the timestamp, the location data, the truck, the really unsettling discovery of the jacket, that anonymous quote, they feel like the only witnesses left speaking now.
They really do. They create this complex picture, but one that, well, it doesn't offer any easy answers, does it?
Not at all. So looking just at these specific details from the material you explored, what do they tell you about this case? How does a piece of evidence like that folded jacket found 9 miles away years later, or that anonymous tip with its chilling quote, how does that shift or deepen the mystery painted by the initial disappearance near the trail? What does the source material suggest?
Well, it forces you to consider the timeline, not just of the disappearance itself, but of the evidence appearing, you know?
Yeah.
And what the deliberate placement of something like the jacket, based on how it's described, might signify. It suggests something beyond the initial event.
Right. It's not just about what happened that night anymore.
No, it hints at actions taken long after.
So the material you shared, it really leaves us with this powerful kind of somber thought for you, the listener, to consider as you reflect on this case. In instances like this, the material seems to suggest justice doesn't always arrive with, like, a loud pronouncement or a clear resolution.
No clear ending presented here.
Sometimes, it seems, it just waits. Maybe hoping someone is finally listening closely enough to the whispers left behind in these details.